When life knocks you down, when the world tells you it's over, when you feel like you're buried under the weight of your struggles, remember this: God said, it's up from here. Maybe you've been through battles that no one knows about. Maybe you've struggled in silence, questioning if you'll ever rise again. But let me tell you something. What you thought was the end was just the beginning. You are not stuck. You're not finished. You're not forgotten. The very fact that you are here today, breathing, listening to these words, means that God has more for you. You see, too many people live their lives chained to their past, believing the lies that say this is as good as it gets. That's a lie. Your past does not define you. Your faith does. You may have made mistakes. You may have lost time. You may have been broken. But hear me loud and clear. You are not disqualified from your destiny. God doesn't call the perfect, He calls the willing. And if you are willing to step up, if you are willing to trust that your best days are ahead of you, you will see doors open that you never imagined. I know life can feel unfair. You've been through heartbreak, rejection, betrayal. But let me ask you something. When you look back at your hardest moments, didn't they shape you? Didn't they make you stronger, wiser, more resilient? Challenges aren't roadblocks, they're setups for your comeback. The pressure you feel is not there to destroy you, it's there to prepare you. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined in fire. If you're feeling the heat right now, understand that God is molding you into something greater. The pain is temporary, but the power you gain from it, that lasts forever. Now, here's where most people get stuck. They hear the promise, but they don't own it. They let fear, doubt, and negativity keep them from stepping into what God has for them. But let me tell you, you must align your mindset with God's promise. Stop speaking defeat. Stop saying, I'll never make it, I'm not good enough, or it's too late for me. The words you speak create the world you live in. Speak victory, speak abundance, speak breakthrough. Because when you align your mind with faith, you start seeing doors open where others see walls. But listen, faith alone isn't enough. Faith without action is dead. You can't just pray for change and expect results while staying in the same place. You've got to move, you've got to act. You've got to get up every single day with the belief that you are walking towards something greater. And when you take that first step, when you refuse to stay down, when you decide that you are done living below your potential, that's when miracles happen. This is your moment. No more excuses, no more hesitation, no more waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. God said it's up from here. So rise up, step up, and don't you dare look back. There was a man who grew up in struggle. Every day felt like a battle. Poverty, rejection, failure. He made mistakes, big ones, the kind that leave scars, the kind that make you question if you'll ever get another chance. People looked at him and saw his past. They judged him for it, labeled him by it, and made sure he never forgot where he came from. But here's the truth that changed everything. Your past does not define you, your faith does. How many times have you let your history dictate your future? How many times have you allowed the voices of doubt, the memories of failure, and the weight of regret to hold you hostage? You see, most people live trapped in their past. They believe that because they've failed before, they'll fail again. They carry the guilt, the shame, the what ifs, and the I should have, like chains around their necks. But let me tell you something, those chains, they only hold power if you refuse to break free. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not what they said about you. Your past is just a chapter, not the whole book. And the only thing that determines where you go from here is your faith. Not just faith in a higher power, but faith in yourself. Faith in your ability to rise. Faith in the fact that you were created for more. Think about the greatest success stories in the world. You know what they all have in common? None of them had it easy. They all had a moment when they hit rock bottom. They all had a moment when the world counted them out. But what separated them from the rest? They refused to let their past define them. They refused to believe that their story was over. There was once a woman who lost everything. Her job, her home, her dignity. She was on the streets, sleeping in shelters, scraping by just to survive. She could have given up. She could have believed the lie that this was all life had for her. But she didn't. She had faith. She believed that no matter how bad things were, they wouldn't stay that way forever. She kept pushing, kept believing, kept working towards something greater. Years later, she was unrecognizable, not because of luck, not because someone saved her, but because she chose to believe in the power of transformation. Listen, life is going to test you. It's going to throw storms your way that make you feel like you'll never make it out. People will remind you of your worst moments. They'll try to define you by your lowest points. But here's what they don't understand. You are not finished. You are not your pain. You are not your failures. And you are certainly not the person you used to be. The enemy of your future is the version of yourself that refuses to let go of the past. If you keep looking back, you'll never move forward. If you keep replaying your failures, you'll never see the opportunities ahead. But the moment you shift your focus, the moment you stop saying, this is who I've always been, and start saying, this is who I am becoming, that's the moment everything changes. Think about it. If God was done with you, you wouldn't still be here. The very fact that you're breathing means that there is more for you to do. There is more inside of you. You may not see it yet, but that's what faith is for. Faith isn't about seeing the whole staircase. It's about taking the first step even when you don't know where it leads. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You don't need anyone's approval to reinvent yourself. The only thing you need is the decision to move forward. The past was a lesson, not a life sentence. Let it go. The regrets, let them go. The mistakes, let them go. The missed opportunities, let them go. Because the more you hold on to them, the heavier they become. And the heavier they become, the harder it is to move forward. You have survived things that should have broken you. You have walked through storms that should have drowned you. But you are still here. That means your story is not over. That means your past is not your identity. That means the only thing left for you to do is rise. Faith is the only thing that separates those who stay down from those who rise again. So believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in the power of new beginnings. Believe that no matter how far you've fallen, you can still get back up. Because in the end, your past is nothing but a story. And today, you get to write the next chapter. There comes a time in every person's life when they get knocked down so hard that they wonder if they'll ever rise again. A time when the obstacles seem too big, the pain too heavy, and the setbacks too overwhelming. Maybe you're in that place right now. Maybe you've lost something. Your job, your confidence, your passion, your belief in yourself. Maybe life hit you so hard that you started to question if you'll ever get back up. But let me tell you something. Challenges are not the end of your story. They are the setup for your greatest comeback. Think about it. Every great success story you've ever heard was born out of struggle. The most powerful transformations don't come from comfort, they come from adversity. The people who inspire us the most are not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who were knocked down, who were counted out, who faced impossible odds, and yet they found a way to rise. When life pushes you to the ground, you have two choices. You can stay down, defeated, broken, and bitter, or you can get up and turn that setback into the greatest comeback of your life. And that decision, it has nothing to do with luck. It has nothing to do with circumstances. It has everything to do with your mindset. See, most people look at challenges as roadblocks. They think, why is this happening to me? Why is life so unfair? But the people who rise, the ones who refuse to stay down, they ask a different question. They say, how is this preparing me? What lesson am I supposed to learn? How can I use this to come back stronger? Because they understand something that most people never realize. Challenges are not punishments, they are training grounds. The pressure, the struggle, the resistance, it's there to mold you, to refine you, to sharpen you into the person you were meant to be. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Strength doesn't come from ease, it comes from hardship. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth. Every setback is a lesson in disguise. Every failure is a stepping stone towards something greater. You might not see it now. You might be so deep in the struggle that it feels like there's no way out. But I promise you, this is not the end. The pain you feel right now is not here to destroy you. It's here to build you. You're being prepared for something bigger than you can imagine. You're being stretched, strengthened, and shaped into a version of yourself that is capable of handling the success that's coming your way. Think about a slingshot. Before it can launch forward, it has to be pulled back. The further it's pulled, the greater the force when it's released. That's exactly what's happening in your life. Right now, you might feel like you're being pulled back, like everything is working against you, like you're losing ground. But what you don't realize is that the moment you decide to release that doubt, that fear, that belief that you're stuck, you're going to shoot forward with more power, more speed, more purpose than ever before. History is filled with people who turned their lowest moments into their greatest victories. People who lost everything and rebuilt their lives from scratch. People who faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure, setback after setback, and yet they refused to give up. And because they refused to quit, because they kept pushing, because they turned their pain into fuel, they became unstoppable. You have that same power inside of you. You have the ability to take whatever life throws at you and use it as fuel to rise higher. You have the strength to turn every no into motivation, every failure into wisdom, every challenge into a stepping stone. The only question is, will you use it? Will you decide that no matter how hard you get hit, no matter how tough the journey gets, you will rise again? Because make no mistake, this is not where your story ends. This is not the final chapter. This is the turning point. This is the moment when you take everything life threw at you, everything that was meant to break you, and you use it to build something greater. You are stronger than you think. You are more powerful than you realize. And the comeback that's coming, it's going to be bigger than anything you've ever imagined. So don't you dare give up now, because the very thing you thought would break you is the thing that's going to make you unstoppable. Everything you want, everything you're praying for, everything you know deep inside you were created to be, it's already written. God's promise for your life is bigger than your doubts, stronger than your fears, and more powerful than any obstacle in your way. But here's the truth. You will never step into that promise if your mindset is working against it. Too many people are waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for success, waiting for their lives to change, but their minds are filled with fear, negativity, and self-doubt. They pray for blessings but expect failure. They ask for opportunities but hesitate when they appear. They dream of more but settle for less because deep down they don't believe they deserve it. Let me tell you something. God cannot bless the version of you that refuses to believe. You can't walk into abundance while thinking with a scarcity mindset. You can't step into greatness while speaking words of defeat over your life. You can't receive God's best for you while holding on to limiting beliefs that tell you, I'm not good enough, it's too late, or I don't have what it takes. That kind of thinking is what keeps people stuck. That kind of thinking is what kills dreams before they even have a chance to grow. If you want to see change in your life, if you want to step into the promise that God has for you, you must align your mindset with it. That means no more negative self-talk, no more doubting yourself, no more allowing fear to dictate your future. It means shifting from I can't to God can, from it's impossible to with God all things are possible. It means waking up every single day with the unshakable belief that no matter what happens, no matter what obstacles arise, no matter how difficult the journey gets, God's plan for you is greater than anything standing in your way. Think about this. When David stood before Goliath, do you think he focused on how big the giant was? Do you think he stood there doubting himself, telling himself, I'm just a shepherd boy, I'm too small, I'm too weak? No. He didn't let fear enter his mind because he knew who was fighting for him. He walked into that battle with confidence, not because of his own strength, but because he aligned his mindset with God's promise. And when your mind is aligned with that promise, nothing, no enemy, no challenge, no setback can stop you. You may be facing battles in your own life right now. Maybe you're standing in front of something that feels impossible. A financial struggle, a broken relationship, a dream that seems out of reach. But hear me when I say this, your situation is not bigger than God's plan for you. You have to stop looking at your problems as permanent. Stop speaking defeat. Stop feeding doubt. Start speaking life over your circumstances. Start believing that what God has promised will come to pass, even if you can't see how. Faith is not about seeing, it's about believing. It's about knowing deep in your soul that what's meant for you will not pass you by. But belief alone is not enough. You have to take action. You have to start showing up as the person God created you to be. You can't pray for success and then let fear stop you from taking the first step. You can't ask for an opportunity and then talk yourself out of it when it shows up. When you align your mindset with God's promise, you move differently. You walk with confidence. You make bold decisions. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. The enemy wants to keep you small. He wants you to doubt yourself. He wants you to believe that where you are right now is where you'll always be. But that's a lie. You were created for more. You were created with a purpose, of a destiny that is greater than anything you've experienced so far. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you're meant to be is your mindset. So shift it. Change the way you think. Change the way you speak about yourself. Change the way you see your future. Because the moment you align your mind with God's promise, your entire life will follow. You can pray all you want. You can dream as big as you can imagine. You can sit there waiting for the perfect opportunity. But if you don't move, if you don't take action, nothing will change. Faith without action is dead. Too many people are stuck in the same place year after year, not because they don't believe in something greater, not because they don't have big dreams, but because they refuse to take the first step. They talk about what they want, they think about what they want, they wish for it, but when it comes time to act, they freeze. Fear takes over, doubt creeps in. The mind starts coming up with excuses. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not ready? And just like that, another opportunity slips by. Another year passes. Another dream dies before it even has a chance to live. But what if? What if instead of overthinking, instead of waiting, instead of doubting yourself, you just took that first step? What if you stopped worrying about the entire staircase and just focus on that one small move forward? That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones who win in life aren't always the smartest. They aren't always the most talented, but they are the ones who are willing to start before they feel ready. Look at every great success story, every person who has ever accomplished something incredible. They didn't have all the answers when they started. They didn't know exactly how everything was going to work out, but they moved anyway. They put in the work. They faced rejection. They took risks. They got knocked down, but they got back up. And step by step, they built something extraordinary. Imagine if Noah had waited for a sign before he started building the ark. Imagine if Moses had refused to step toward the Red Sea because he didn't know how it was going to part. Imagine if David had hesitated before facing Goliath, waiting for the right moment to attack. Nothing great happens without action. Nothing moves unless you move first. Faith is powerful, but faith alone is not enough. You can believe in your dream all day long, but if you don't take action, it stays a dream. You can trust that God has a plan for you, but if you don't step into that plan, you'll never see it unfold. The breakthrough you're praying for isn't coming until you show up and do the work. And here's the truth. The first step is always the hardest. The first step is the one that will make you question everything. The first step is the one that will feel the most uncomfortable. But that's the one that matters the most, because once you take that first step, you build momentum. Once you start moving, you start believing in yourself more. You start seeing doors open that you never even knew existed. It doesn't matter how small that first step is. Maybe it's making a call. Maybe it's signing up for that course. Maybe it's showing up to the gym. Maybe it's finally sitting down and writing that business plan. Whatever it is, just take the step. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for everything to feel right. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Move. Will it be easy? No. Will you face setbacks? Absolutely. But guess what? Every successful person did too. Every person you admire had moments when they wanted to quit. But they didn't, because they understood something most people don't. God honors movement. When you take a step in faith, he meets you there. When you act, he makes a way. When you show up, he opens doors you never could have opened on your own. So what are you waiting for? The fear you feel is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're stepping into something bigger. The doubt you have is not proof that you're not capable. It's proof that you're about to grow. The discomfort you feel is not a warning to turn back. It's the stretching that happens before transformation. You already know what you need to do. You already have everything inside of you to take that step. The only thing left is the decision. The decision to stop wishing and start doing. The decision to stop waiting and start moving. The decision to finally, once and for all, take the first step. Because that first step, that's the step that changes everything. You have everything you need. The power, the vision, the ability, it's already inside of you. But none of it matters if you don't move. None of it will change your life if you keep sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment. Let me tell you something. The perfect moment does not exist. The people who win in life are not the ones waiting for the stars to align. They are the ones who decide right now that they are done waiting, done doubting, done making excuses, and they take action. You have one life. One shot, one opportunity to become the person you were created to be. How much longer are you going to sit on your dreams? How much longer are you going to talk about what you're going to do someday? Someday is a lie. Someday is the enemy of progress. Someday keeps you trapped in mediocrity while your potential rots away. You want to succeed? Then start. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Take the first step. Move forward. I don't care if it's messy. I don't care if it's imperfect. I don't care if you're scared. Do it anyway. Because the truth is, you're going to feel fear. You're going to have doubts. You're going to wonder if you're capable, if you're strong enough, if you're worthy. But guess what? So did every great person before you. Every champion, every leader, every game changer felt fear. But the difference between them and everybody else, they didn't let fear stop them. They acted in spite of it. Listen to me. You are more powerful than you think. The only limits that exist are the ones you accept. If you believe you can't, you're right. But if you believe that nothing is impossible, if you believe that God has already equipped you with everything you need, if you believe that no matter what happens, you will find a way, then guess what? You're right. Winners don't wait for motivation. They don't wait to feel ready. They show up every single day, even when they're tired, even when it's hard, even when nobody believes in them, because they understand something that most people never will. Success is not given. It is taken. How much longer are you going to wait? Time is running out. There are no guarantees. The opportunities in front of you right now, they won't always be there. The people who support you, they won't always be around. The time you have, it's slipping away with every second you waste. The clock is ticking. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep waiting? Keep hoping? Keep watching other people chase their dreams while you sit on the sidelines? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? Remember this. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to start. That's it. It's not your past. It's not your circumstances. It's not what people have said about you. It's you. The moment you decide that you will no longer settle for less than what you are capable of, that's the moment your life changes. The greats were not born great. They built themselves into something great. And if they could do it, so can you. So stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop doubting yourself. Take the first step. Because the first step, that's the step that turns the impossible into reality.